It probably started on a random Saturday night. You were sitting in the corner and you realized, I don't belong here. All of the people sitting around me in this room, we share a significant past, but I don't think we're meant to share a future together. And you probably battled with it. You probably told yourself, nah, man, these are my boys. I love them. And you do. You probably also told yourself, who am I to think I'm better than these guys? I'm not better than these guys. Why do I feel like I don't belong here around them? Why do I feel like I'm not growing around these guys? Probably even tried to psych yourself out and think that you did belong. You probably tried to fit in, and you probably laughed at the jokes that you didn't think were funny anymore. If any of this sounds familiar or struck a chord within any of you, I'm here to be your brother and say that it's okay and I understand and you didn't do anything wrong. Growing up it's very complicated. There's some very important formative years between like 15 and 21 where you're transitioning from a little boy into a young adult. If you're watching this video, it probably hit you sooner than later that the people you were hanging around are holding you back. And this is a difficult topic to wrestle with because the people on the outside looking in will tell you that you're egotistical for thinking that you're better than these people. And you probably get defensive because you don't think you're better than them. You just feel like all these guys are good for laughs and they're great people. They have good souls, but they're not going to get me to my goals. You know? And if you've ever brought this up to anybody else, they probably told you that you're wrong. You know, they've probably made you feel like you need to suppress that feeling. And it's hard to deal with, honestly. It's kind of something that I've been going through recently, you know? You start to do the math on it and realize the opportunity cost of hanging out on that Friday night and getting drunk. And there will come this weird imposter syndrome where you're gonna second guess yourself and your goals and the decisions that you're working towards, which is fine, that's okay. But you need to double down. And what a lot of people do is they don't double down. They're in the third person point of view, sitting in the circle. They're looking at all the guys around them. They realize that, man, in this current state, none of these guys are going anywhere or working on their goals or trying to grow as human beings. But they fell back into it and they wasted more time. They said yes too many times. There's a lot of great power in saying no to your inner circle. When everybody hears you're the sum of the 5 closest people to you, everyone agrees. Everyone says, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. You know, they influence you the most, they're around you the most, they hang out with you the most, they know your life the most, you know their life the most. For some reason, when it comes to taking action and seizing the day, almost nobody does it, and almost everybody still hangs out with the 5 people that they don't want to be like. You don't want their life, you don't want to go down the path that they're going down. For some reason, they can have a significant amount of your energy. And I struggle with this a lot too because there's certain people that I love to death and they're my brothers, like actual brothers, and I would almost die for them in combat. But there could be a sense of brotherhood without you giving so much of your time, you know? I've kind of had to learn to love people from afar. Like I love you, man. I do love you. I wish I had time to spend with you, but the return on my investment of my time is not worth it to me anymore, you know? Which is heartbreaking, honestly, especially when you really love a group of guys or maybe even just one specific friend, because almost everybody will pick up on this as like oh, you think you're better than me? Like, oh, you think you're the one? Like you're the one that's too good for us? You ain't shit. For the most part, they're probably right. You probably don't have any results that say you are who you think you are, and you probably don't have enough discipline to be moving the way that you are. There's a special aspect to acting like who you think you are before you are that person, you know? Believing you are the hardest man in the room before you actually are is important to getting there in the first place. So don't be afraid of shedding some blood, and don't be afraid of closing some doors. Make sure the lock is in your hand when you do close those doors, just in case they have to be reopened. Friends will come and go, people will enter and exit your life, and you have to take everything as lessons, you know? Just please, for the love of God, get away from those people that you know you need to be getting away from. Give your time to you. Give your time back to you. Time is the one thing that can't be bought back. Once it's gone, it's gone. You'll never touch it back. You can never regain it. It's gone. Once you spend it, it's gone forever. You can do your best to buy other people's time and leverage time in the future, but the time that you spend now is gone forever, and only memories remain. In my opinion, that makes time the most valuable and finite resource on this planet. So in my head, the way I've calculated this is like, okay, if this is the most important thing on the planet, then I need to treat it as such. Where is my time going? You know? How much of my time do I let bullshit things that aren't going to improve my future take? Is it 5 hours a day? Is it 10 hours a day? No, I think there's also something you got to stand on business. You know, if you're going to come off as this guy that's too good for everybody, then you need to get on your shit. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to protect your time and your energy, spend it wisely. You have to be the main character. There's so many people that are just side characters, hanging around side side characters, you know? Like, you guys are like waiting in the lobby, waiting to get drafted. All right, all 5 of us are gonna sit around and do nothing all day. Maybe we'll be a side character in someone else's main quest. Like, fuck that. Go seize the day. Go be the big guy. Go be the main character, and all the chips will fall into place. People will be attracted to your energy. You'll attract the right people. I'd rather have a very small amount of high quality words and high quality conversations than a huge plethora of just bullshit plaguing my mind, you know? All right, so I'm editing this video, and I realized I left out a lot of like key points that I wanted to talk about, and the commentary just isn't really that great. So it's the next day basically, and there's just a couple more things I wanted to touch on. Anybody that's made significant growth in their life went through the phase of being so different and unrelated to the friends that they're currently with, but not being good enough to be with the people they want to be with, you know, the connections they want, the networking that they want. I've heard it referred to as like the lonely chapter, you know, because of the fact that you cannot be around the people you want to be around and be in the places you want to be. There will be an overwhelming temptation to go back to the people you were hanging around and going back to the life that you did have, because it's comfortable and you understand it, you know it very well. And to a lot of people, that's why they never change. You know, they knew it was there. They saw it. They knew what they needed to do. They knew the changes they needed to make. They knew they needed to stay away from those people, and they don't, you know. That's why I'm in my bedroom in my parents' house instead of my own house in a fucking mansion somewhere, because I gave into too many temptations. The reason that I'm here is because I deserve it, you know? And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people that are feeling that way. So when you are in that lonely chapter and you are excluded from life, especially a social life, take it as a blessing, because you have an undeniable amount of free discipline when you don't want to hang around these people and give these people your time. The one thing I have to say is that you cannot fall back into the life that you were living. You have to just, once you do make the turn, you can't turn around. The reason I'm sitting here right now and I don't have 1 million subscribers is because I've turned around so many fucking times. And if there's anything I could say to any of you guys, is that when you turn your back, don't fucking turn back. When you turn your back, do not turn back. You have to just keep going. And it's gonna be lonely and it's gonna suck. And when I've gone through these moments of loneliness in these little chapters of life, I've compared it to like movies that I've watched growing up, like the Rocky movie, where the Rocky montage of him becoming a badass is like 10 minutes long. When in real life, that type of progress and that type of montage probably takes the average person 5 to 10 years, you know, going down this personal growth path. The movies are a bit unrealistic, and I feel like a lot of us can compare, you know? So when you are in that lonely chapter and you're like, God damn, I've been doing this for 5 years. Fuck it. I'm going back to the drugs. I'm going back to the alcohol. I'm going back to the video games. I'm going back to sitting down all day. I'm going back to that job that I swore that I would never go back to. I'm going back to hanging out with those friends because at least I was smiling when I was with them. When you get to that breaking point, fucking keep going and do not turn back. And you guys are hearing it from the guy that does. You guys are hearing it from the loser that when I had all the chips stacked in my favor, I fucking still blew it. And that's the only reason I'm sitting here. So your environment is everything. Even for me, I'm a first-hand example. I wish I had people going down a similar path to me in person. You see all these influencers, you see all these people online doing all the things you want to do. You can relate to them and find community within them. But it's so much easier when you can see the person in real life, you know, and you know what they're doing with their day, and they're your actual friend, you know? It's so much easier to grind with that type of environment around you compared to one that's like artificially created online. Young people that are craving growth struggle with that specific thing. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Later.